Hey, listen closely. What I'm about to tell you took me 10 painful years to understand, and you're about to hear it in the next few minutes. Most people only learn these lessons after losing everything. These are the lessons people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s wish they knew sooner. Lessons that could save you from regret. Lessons that could change the way you wake up tomorrow morning. So before we begin, picture this. You and I sitting somewhere quiet. A late-night kitchen, a rooftop at sunset, a parked car after a long day. Just a calm conversation you'll remember years from now. Let's start. Life lesson number 1. Time waits for nobody. Let me start with a truth that sounds simple until you really feel it. Life doesn't slow down. Not for you. Not for anyone. Think back to when you were younger. Remember how endless time felt? How summers felt long? How years felt huge? How the future felt far away? Not anymore, right? Now time moves like water slipping through your fingers. A month disappears. A year disappears. You blink, and you're older. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." He wasn't being dark. He was being honest. Life doesn't ask if you're ready. It moves. And the brutal part? It doesn't care about your excuses. Think about the goals you've had. The body you said you'd build. The business you said you'd start. The habits you said you'd fix. The relationship you said you'd repair. The apology you said you'd make. The future you said you'd create someday. Where did someday get you? Here's something most people don't realize until it's too late. You don't lose your life in one moment. You lose it in thousands of small ones. 10 minutes on your phone, 30 minutes procrastinating, one more day saying tomorrow, one more week waiting for motivation, one more year convincing yourself you have time. Then one morning you wake up and think, where did the last 5 years go? And the answer is simple but painful. They went to comfort. They went to distraction. They went to the path of least resistance. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine spent years talking about starting a business. He had the idea. He had the talent. He had the connections. He had everything except urgency. Every time we'd meet, he'd say the same thing. I'm working on it. Just need to plan it better. Just need to save more. Just need the right moment. Then one year, someone else launched the exact business he always talked about and became wealthy off it. My friend looked at me with hollow eyes and said, "I waited for the perfect moment." He didn't. That's the difference time makes. And here's what I want you to take from this. If you don't respect time, time will disrespect your dreams. If you want something, start now. Not later. Because later is a lie the mind tells to protect you from discomfort. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca spent his life writing about how we waste time. Not because we don't have enough, but because we treat it like it's infinite. We say yes to things that don't matter. We scroll endlessly. We argue with strangers online. We watch other people live while our own life sits dormant. And then we wonder why we feel empty. Here's a question that will change everything. If you died tomorrow, would you be proud of how you spent today? Not would people miss you. Would you be satisfied with the choices you made? Most people can't answer yes, but you still have today. You still have this moment. You still have the power to choose differently. Start messy. Start unprepared. Start scared, but start. Your future self will thank you for it, because the only thing worse than starting late is never starting at all. Life lesson number 2. Take care of yourself. First. This lesson is hard because at first it sounds selfish. Take care of yourself. First, isn't that selfish? Isn't that cold? Isn't that against everything we were taught? No. What's selfish is letting yourself fall apart and making everyone around you deal with the consequences. Your health is your foundation. Your mind is your engine. Your energy is your fuel. When they collapse, everything else collapses with them. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You can't be strong for anyone else if you're weak inside. You can't show up for your family if you're mentally drowning. You can't build your dream if your body is breaking down. You can't be present if your mind is scattered. But here's the tragedy. Most people don't take their health seriously until something goes wrong. They take sleep for granted. They take their body for granted. They take their mental stability for granted until the day it cracks, a panic attack, a breakdown, a diagnosis. A moment where life grabs you by the throat and says, "Enough." I've watched people ignore warning signs for years. The chronic fatigue they brushed off, the anxiety they pushed down, the pain they medicated but never addressed, the exhaustion they called just being busy. Until one day, their body said no, and suddenly everything stopped. But you don't need to hit the wall. You can choose to stop before the crash. Ask yourself right now, are you eating like someone who loves themselves? Are you sleeping like someone who respects their future? Are you resting like someone who wants longevity? Are you moving like someone who values their body? Are you protecting your peace like someone who knows it's fragile? Or are you treating yourself like your body is indestructible and your mind can run forever without rest? Because here's the reality. Your body keeps score. Every late night, every skipped meal, every stress hormone, every ignored signal. It all adds up. And one day the bill comes due. You only get one body. You only get one mind. Treat them like assets, not afterthoughts. This means take breaks before you burn out. Sleep before you collapse. Set boundaries before you explode. Say no before your life becomes overwhelming. Walk away from toxicity before it poisons you. Rest without guilt. Heal without apology. Taking care of yourself first isn't selfish. It's strategic. It's wise. It's necessary. Think of it like the airplane safety demonstration. Put on your own oxygen mask first before helping others. Not because you don't care about them, but because you're useless to everyone if you're unconscious. The same applies to life. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't have. You can't be strong for others if you're broken inside. And anyone who makes you feel guilty for prioritizing your well-being doesn't understand what real strength is. Real strength is knowing your limits. Real strength is honoring your needs. Real strength is saying no when yes would destroy you. So protect your peace fiercely. Guard your energy ruthlessly. Prioritize your health religiously, because everything else in your life depends on it. Life lesson number 3. Don't regret. Learn and move forward. Look, regret is heavy. It sits on your chest like a weight you can't lift. It plays like a movie in your mind over and over. It whispers, "You should have known better." You should have done it differently. You wasted so much time. But regret is also useless, unless you turn it into fuel. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Regret is exactly that. Imaginary suffering. You're hurting yourself over something that no longer exists. You're living in a timeline that's already gone. Ask yourself, how many hours have you spent replaying a mistake? How many nights have you lost imagining different outcomes? How much time have you wasted wishing you could go back? How much energy have you burned punishing yourself for being human? But here's the truth. Nobody tells you. You can't go back. But you can go forward with wisdom. Every mistake you made, a lesson you paid for in full. Every failure, a teacher disguised as pain. Every regret, a message from your past self saying, "Don't do that again." You are not the same person who made those mistakes. You have more clarity now, more awareness, more experience, more scars, but also more strength. The version of you that failed was doing the best they could with what they knew. But now you know more. Now you see clearer. Now you understand deeper. And that's not something to regret. That's something to honor. Let me tell you something personal. There was a time I wasted years doing nothing. I told myself I'd start my life soon. I convinced myself I had time. I believed tomorrow would be different without making today different. But soon turned into a cycle of regret. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became years. And I hated myself for it. Until one day I realized something powerful. My past self couldn't save me, but my future self was begging me to start. So I stopped looking backward. I stopped punishing myself for lost time. I stopped dwelling on what could have been. And I started. Slowly. Badly. Imperfectly. But I started. And everything changed. Not overnight, but gradually. Not dramatically, but consistently. Not perfectly, but genuinely. Here's what I want you to do. Instead of asking, why did I do that? Ask, what did that teach me? Instead of saying, I ruined everything. Say, I learned something I'll never forget. Instead of thinking, I can't believe I wasted so much time. Think, I'm grateful I learned this lesson now instead of later. Instead of living backward, live forward. You cannot change your past, but you can change who you become because of it. And that's where your power is. The Stoics believed that everything happens for a reason, not in some mystical sense, but in a practical one. Every experience shapes you. Every mistake teaches you. Every failure prepares you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your regrets aren't roadblocks. They're stepping stones. So stop carrying them like burdens. Start treating them like lessons, because the moment you do, you transform pain into power. Life lesson number 4. Build your dream, or build someone else's. Every morning when you wake up, you face a simple choice. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't feel intense, but the consequences are massive. Will you build your dream today, or someone else's? Here's the thing. Most people spend their entire lives building someone else's dream. their boss's dream, their company's dream, their parents' expectations, society's definition of success. And they never stop to ask, what about mine? The truth is this: if you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs. And there's nothing wrong with having a job. There's nothing wrong with earning a living. There's nothing wrong with supporting yourself and your family. There's nothing wrong with being practical. But if you stop there, if you never carve out time for the dream inside you, if you never explore what you're actually capable of, that's when the regret hits. Seneca wrote, "It is not that life is short, but that we waste so much of it." And most of that waste comes from building a life you didn't choose. You want to write a book. You want to start a business. You want to get in shape. You want to learn a skill. You want to travel somewhere meaningful. You want to create something that matters. You want to change your environment. You want something. Everyone does. But dreams die not because they're impossible, but because people never start. They wait for permission. They wait for confidence. They wait for the right time. They wait for certainty. But here's what the Stoics understood. There is no right time. There's only now. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You don't have to take a huge risk. You don't have to flip your life upside down. You don't have to bet everything on one move. All you have to do is give your dream some time every day. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, a small action, a tiny step. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. It's proof that you haven't abandoned yourself. Imagine if you worked on your dream for just 30 minutes every day for a year. That's 182 hours. More time than most people give their dreams in a decade. And most dreams don't need more than that. They just need attention. They just need effort. They just need you to show up. You don't need to move fast. You just need to move. Because every day you neglect your dream, someone else moves closer to theirs. Every day you say, tomorrow, someone else says, today. Every day you make excuses, someone else makes progress. And the question is, whose vision will you spend your life building? Will it be yours? Or will you look back decades from now and realize you spent your best years making someone else rich, someone else successful, someone else proud, while your own dreams collected dust? I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it to wake you up. Because your dream matters. Not because it's going to change the world. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But because it's yours. And living without pursuing it is living half alive. Life lesson number 5. Work in silence. Celebrate in private. Let me tell you something that took me far too long to realize. Most people don't want you to win. Not because they hate you. Not because they wish you harm. Not because they're evil, but because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your discipline highlights their excuses. Your progress exposes their inaction. Your transformation forces them to confront their own comfort. This is human nature. It's not personal, but it's real. That's why talking about your dreams too early is dangerous. You tell a friend your plan. They doubt it. You tell a co-worker your goal. They question it. You tell family your vision. They project their fear onto you. You share your excitement. They drain it with skepticism. And suddenly you're hesitant. Suddenly you feel silly. Suddenly your dream feels unrealistic. Suddenly you're defending something that should be sacred. The opinion of others is a strange weight if you let it. So stop giving people the chance to weigh you down. Work quietly. Build privately. Grow in silence. Move in the shadows. Protect your ideas like seedlings. Because when they're small, they're fragile. When you announce your dream too early, you expose it to storms it's not strong enough to survive. Criticism before progress kills momentum. Doubt before action kills courage. Judgment before proof kills confidence. So here's the rule. Let your work talk for you. Let your results speak for you. Let your success announce itself. Don't tell them you're going to get in shape. Show up transformed. Don't tell them you're starting a business. Show up successful. Don't tell them you're changing your life. Show up changed. And when you win, celebrate privately. Not every victory needs an audience. Not everyone deserves access to your joy. Some moments are meant to stay yours, because the people who doubted you don't deserve to celebrate with you. The people who discouraged you don't get to claim they supported you. The people who were silent during your struggle don't get to be loud during your success. Silence isn't secrecy. Silence is protection. Silence is power. It's keeping your energy focused on execution instead of explanation. It's refusing to dilute your vision with outside noise. It's understanding that real confidence doesn't need validation. So work like nobody's watching. Build like nobody believes. Grow like nobody cares. And when you succeed, let the silence speak louder than any announcement ever could. Life lesson number 6. Listen only to the right voices. Here's something you probably already know. Everyone has advice for you. Your parents have advice. Your friends have advice. Your co-workers have advice. Strangers on the internet have advice. But here's what you might not realize. Most of that advice is garbage, not because people are bad, but because they're speaking from their fear, not your future. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none know anything about the subject." Meaning, if they haven't built what you want to build, why would their words matter? If they haven't lived the life you want to live, why would their perspective shape yours? Think about it. Would you take fitness advice from someone out of shape? Financial advice from someone broke? Relationship advice from someone miserable? Business advice from someone who's never started one? Life advice from someone who doesn't even like their own life? Probably not. So why do we let their voices control us? Why do we shrink our dreams to fit their comfort? Why do we take criticism from people we wouldn't take guidance from? Why do we let insecurity become our compass? Why do we let fear, disguised as realism, dictate our choices? You need to silence the wrong voices, family included, friends included, co-workers included, strangers included. You don't owe anyone access to your mind. People will tell you to be realistic. What they mean is, be small like me. People will tell you to be careful. What they mean is, don't make me feel bad for playing it safe. People will tell you it's too risky. What they mean is, I'm too afraid, so you should be too. But their limitations are not your reality. Instead, surround yourself with people who encourage your growth, live with discipline, speak from experience, believe in ambition, push you instead of limiting you, think bigger, move with purpose, challenge you to be better, hold you accountable, inspire you through action, not just words, and most importantly, listen to yourself. Your voice, your intuition, your inner compass. You live with the results of your choices, not them. Their opinions won't feed you. Their doubts won't pay your bills. Their fears won't shape your future. Only your actions will. So choose whose voice gets inside your mind. Choose carefully, Choose wisely, choose ruthlessly, because the voices you listen to today become the thoughts you think tomorrow, and those thoughts become your reality. Life lesson number 7. Consistency beats excuses. If you forget everything else in this message, remember this one. Consistency will change your life more than motivation ever will. Motivation gets you started. Consistency gets you finished. Seneca wrote, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." But preparation comes from consistency. Showing up every day, even when you're tired, even when you're unmotivated, even when life is messy, even when nobody's watching, even when results aren't visible yet. Here's the truth. You don't need to be the best. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to be the most gifted. You just need to be consistent. A little progress daily becomes unstoppable. Tiny efforts compound into massive results. Small steps, repeated endlessly, create transformation. Let me put it simply. Excuses subtract. Consistency multiplies. You miss one workout, no big deal. Miss 3, you're losing momentum. Miss a week, you're back to 0. You write one page, you're building momentum. You write one page every day, you're writing a book. You save a little, you build discipline, you save consistently, you build wealth. You learn one thing, you gain knowledge, you learn consistently, you become unstoppable. Here's the part most people never understand. Consistency builds confidence. Confidence builds discipline. Discipline builds success. But it all starts with the smallest step. Just one. One action. One repetition. One habit. One choice. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Today. Make it today. Make it tomorrow. Make it again the day after. And watch your entire life change. Because consistency is the compound interest of self-improvement. It doesn't look impressive in the moment, but over time, it's unstoppable. You've just heard 7 lessons that most people don't learn until they're older. When time is short, when energy is limited, when regret is heavy, when the opportunity to change has narrowed. But you're hearing them now, and that means something. It means you're not doomed to repeat the same cycles. It means you're not stuck. It means your future is still unwritten. It means you have the chance to live with intention instead of drifting. It means you can choose differently starting today. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, remember this conversation. Remember that time won't wait. Remember that health is your foundation. Remember that regret can become wisdom. Remember that your dream deserves your effort. Remember that silence protects your power. Remember that you choose whose voice you listen to. And remember that consistency, not intensity, is what changes your life. Say this quietly to yourself. I rise stronger every morning. If this message resonated with you, if it grounded you, if it opened something inside you, if it gave you clarity, if it made you feel less alone, subscribe to the Stoic Project. We're building strength here. Not loud, not aggressive, but calm, disciplined, unshakable strength. The kind that lasts, the kind that matters, the kind that changes lives. And this is only the beginning.